Herbivore. Herbivore. Herbivore.
Hello! Oh, we're chopped off.
Came on when I was singing, I didn't know it.
I came on all of a sudden. How are we?
Seems close.
It's close. Right. Hi, any Patreons or channel members watching this on the replay. Thank you so much for your continued support. It means the absolute world. The Harak is here. Ahoy, how's the soy noi? Great. Classic question. One man, 1 year, 1 filly. Follow him on the gram. He's great. Here a little early to listen as per usual. Hope you all had a wonderful weekend, my friends. We really did. Thank you. 2 weeks away from my next 5k and doing it with my wife. Nice.
I hear about doing it with your wife. Not on this show. It's for family.
The plan is to cross the finish line. It's really great that she's getting involved as well. That's
very
awesome.
Good. Sorry about my stupid, not funny joke.
Yeah. We lost our mum's way too soon, and hers was to cancer, so we're going to do this together. I'm super proud of her doing it with me. This is my second race in her flight. That's huge.
That's very cool.
That is really good.
Well done.
Don't know I said well done, please. Yeah. Jason. Richard Benham's there. Kevin. You. Vegan with Gita. Zip. And Harad's live. Hello. I'm so happy to be resting here with my mam. Hello to you, you lovely thing. It's Hank Harad's birthday coming up. I think it's sometime next month, so...
Yeah. Everyone subscribe.
Subscribe to Angharad for her birthday. It's a good present. It's the best present to give a YouTuber. Oh, I just really smashed my ankle with the bit of bone that sticks out. Oh, just for fun. Vegan Realist is here. Vegemite Codbod. Eliza the Vegan. She's got a video out, hasn't she?
Yeah, she put her first video out.
Follow Eliza the Vegan.
Well.
That was well edited. Andre's here also, and check his channel, Doodle Machine, for like drawings and whatnot. Kelly Horrocks is there, and Zelnaga. He's lifting some weights while watching. Nice. Hardcore herbivore. Mukul is here entirely honest. Is here. Good to see you guys. How dare you entirely honest? You're entirely insulting now. Nice, Kevin. Looking for questions.
We've even got the microphone in. No one's saying that they can't hear us.
I think you turned it off when you pulled it over here.
Oh God.
Possibly. Unless it wasn't on this whole time. Was our audio even on?
Your mic went off, Andre said, so I guess it was on.
Right.
Is it back?
Yeah, I can see it. Looking for questions. I can't see any questions. It's because we weren't on yet.
Yeah, they were talking amongst themselves. How dare you?
Frederico's in the house. It starts at 6 p.m. GMT as advertised. Just so you all know. Looking for questions. Can't find any questions. It's all people everyone's talking amongst themselves. I'll get there in a minute, I'm sure. Plant-based powers in the house. Stacey Langley. You're welcome, Jason. Kevin, post the name in the chat, please, Hench. What name?
Someone's channel we said to subscribe to, maybe? I don't
So
know.
there's Angharad. She's underneath you there. She's the one. If that's what we were talking about. Federico, thoughts on the new What I've Learned video? I don't know it. So I'm afraid I cannot pass judgment.
It's really good. Just making it up.
It's really smart.
I don't know.
Yeah, it's really smart. Hadley, hi guys, looking to come back to Norwich in a couple of weeks. Where would you recommend going to eat? There's so many places.
Namaste Village. You've got to go there and tell them that Hench Herbivore told you to go there.
Namaste Village, the Green Eatery, Rivado Kitchen and Hotel, Erpingham House.
Yeah, Erpingham House is different. Tipsy Vegan's good, but they just do like more junkier food.
Diner.
You can't really get anything
Diner
healthy
food.
in there. But you know, if you want to have like vegan cocktails and American style, you know, burgers and ribs and fish and chips, that kind of stuff, then I'd go there for sure. River Green? Must be a vegan and vegetarian, isn't it? Just a bit more on the outskirts of Norwich. Yeah, those are our favourite places.
Ancestors Coffee is good for sort of lunch.
Yeah.
Bit of bowls and smoothie bowls and stuff. Plant-based powered, great. Glad to hear it, my friend. Glad to hear it. That's awesome. You can do it. If you want it enough, you will do it. Nikki Northern British Gaming, how are you doing? Angharad's loving our vegan skits channel. Yeah, do check that out. It's comedy short form videos. Thank you,
It's literally
Angharad.
called Vegan Skits. the channel.
With a Z. Paul, how did your recovery improve once on a vegan diet? Yeah, quite a bit. Quite a bit. Less soreness, like train for longer, like more energized, and yeah, just sleep better. Not sore for as long. Like, yeah.
You used to get bad tendonitis, didn't you?
I used to have horrible tendonitis. I used to be knackered after like half an hour's training. Mind you, I was so blinking heavy. I was a bit mad.
And also, he used to be very, very grumpy on a diet.
Yeah, that's true.
So he'd
Really
eat
grumpy.
low carb, loads of meat and fat, and just tired. Couldn't bring himself to go out for his like walk he was trying to do every night, and yeah, so grumpy and just tired and miserable. And,
How dare you?
It's true though.
Well, yeah.
And then yeah, now he's on a diet, so he's carved up. He's still on a lot of carbs even at the end of his diet, and yeah, he's still energized, and he just struggles a little bit just at the very, very end, you know. So that's the biggest difference I've noticed in him.
Squad, Vegan Mooncat says, subscribe to him. He's blinking brilliant as well.
Don't ask him what he's been doing today.
Ask him what he's been doing today.
Don't say it.
I use an octopus as a sword.
What?
That's not something I do. That was someone's name. They said something, but then they changed their mind. So I don't know what they're talking about. I do know what plant-based powered's talking about, though.
No, we've never heard of that sort of thing.
Nice. Pimo Dorino's in the house. Good to see you, my friend. Plant-based powered. I used to drink, smoke, and do other drugs. I quit those on my last one being. I quit those on my last one being vegan. I'm not quite sure what you're saying there. Being vegan really helped with the cravings. Good. I'm pleased to hear it.
There's something about I'll try and remember this. There's the same neural pathway for, is it dopamine pathway?
Yeah.
Or like when you, for food that stimulates you, you know, so hyperpalatable like fast food, for drugs, sex, you know, all that stuff. So if it's all overstimulated from doing drugs or alcohol or eating junk food all the time, then you just don't enjoy life so much. You know, you have to be really stimulated to enjoy life. So when you cut out all that stuff and you live like clean and healthy, you just like body resets and pathways reset, and you honestly then can feel more joy and happiness and enjoy life more. Just, you can enjoy a sunset or whatever nonsense people enjoy, but you don't have to like take a load of cocaine to.
I do notice that I just enjoy looking at like a big tree or something now, and I sort of laugh to myself and think, I never would have like got any enjoyment from this. Like, this is really weird.
Yeah, and so that's why.
Andre, you ever do powerlifting big 3 lifts? No. Certainly not singles. Well, I did bench, and not powerlifting style, bodybuilding style. So not half as much potential to lift heavy weights. But I did 180 kilos on a bodybuilding bench press. Deadlifts I've never really been able to train because I messed my back up early on. Squats never went lower reps, but I did like 20 reps in the rest pause style with 140 kilos. I think that's about the most I ever did on there. Mark Crossy's in the house. Good to see you. I use an octopus as a sword. This doesn't seem very vegan, but it also sounds quite bonkers, so it's all right. Least favourite vegetable? Brussels sprouts for me.
Broccoli. There you go.
Controversial. Blackheart, best food you never tried before going vegan, but now you love it. Kalettes. Kalettes, which is a cross between kale and Brussels sprouts, conversely.
Tempeh. Really love tempeh. Tempeh bacon. I think like we just ate quite boring like before.
Yeah.
I ate a lot of fast food, like junk food, and then I reset my tastes to enjoy like real food. And I would just eat like some chicken with a bit of salad or some pasta, like a bit of tuna in a sandwich. So I just didn't eat much like variety compared to what I eat now. I eat so many things, so many like exotic like grapefruits we've been having, just that I love, like honey mangoes and things. Like, yeah, I just never enjoyed and ate stuff like that before. I can't think of anything else.
Super chat. Jake Serber very generously donated $5. Thank you so much. And been vegan for 2 months thanks to you and Evelyn. Yeah, nice. Never felt better. Thanks so much, man. No question. He's just supporting his local neighbourhood vegan YouTubers out of the kindness of his heart. And good for you, my friend. And thank you for your kind words as well. That means a lot.
How great that you're doing such a great thing and you're also benefiting,
As you should.
I think a lot of people would still be vegan even if it wasn't the best thing for their health or they didn't feel any better.
Well, to be fair, most people don't even eat a healthy vegan.
That's
true.
They
eat any old junk and they still do it.
Vegan for yeah, that's very true. But how great when you eat whole plant foods or I don't know how to feel that way, but when you do then you feel so much better. What a great reward for doing such a great thing.
Yeah. Stop the sprout hate, Paul. I'm sorry. Lolly, Hench, what do you make of freely and raw fruit for your own diet? Can you be healthy mainly free? I don't know really. Maybe. Some people eat fruitarian, and I mean, as long as you're getting all your nutrients from somewhere, it'd be harder. It'd be harder to eat adequately of calories unless you've got ripe fruit on hand all the time. So, sort of unless you're in Costa Rica or somewhere, like some people say that they're thriving on it and they have great blood work. So I'm not going to poo-poo him, but I think it's easier to be healthy if you eat a range of whole plant foods, because the more diverse range of foods we eat, the more different types of fibre we eat, the more different types of bacteria that we sort of get to live in our guts, and the greater the health potential. So, yeah. Just in case anyone's sort of new here, when we get a super chat, I sort of keep going from there. So if I miss your comment or question, do pop it back in the chat. But I want to keep trying to keep up to date with the comments and questions so it doesn't get boring for people waiting. Kid Genius, have you ever heard of people being unable to digest tempeh? I tried it in the beginning, transition, was sick for a whole day after eating it, so sick that I won't try it again. It's not normally a thing that you'd have a problem with, unless you have a problem with legumes in general, because it's made from soybeans. But out of all the sort of legumes, it'd be one of the easier ones to digest because it's fermented. So,
do you have any issues with any other soy products? Sounds don't know. Sounds like food poisoning or an allergy, severe allergy. Or, don't know. Yeah, I can see why you not want to eat that again if you felt that bad from it.
Federico, how bad would it be to eat like 4 tablespoons of olive oil to reach the calorie goal I want? On the scale of things, like I'd bang on about whole foods, and they certainly are optimal. If you're eating nothing but whole plant foods, but you had like 4 tablespoons of it, like an extra virgin olive oil, and say it was in a opaque container, so it wasn't producing trans fats while it was sitting on the shelf. It's hard to say. If you were well, if you didn't have heart disease or something, likely, I mean, you've got to balance your omega-3 and 6, and that's going to be a lot higher in 6. It's probably not going to kill you, but it's going to be far from optimal, and there's a lot of calories. You know, I'm guessing if you're saying, it sounds to me like you're probably trying to consume more calories than you're really comfortable doing. So from that perspective, like it would be a good tactic, but it's if you're willing to risk the potential negatives. You know, there are negatives that come with oil. Extra virgin olive being one of the least harmful, but you know, there's a lot of controversy about this at the minute in certain quarters. But quite simply, we haven't got the science showing a whole foods plant-based diet versus a whole foods plant-based diet with, say, 4 tablespoons of olive oil. And until that data comes out, I think it's fair to infer that likely you're not going to have such a good health outcome because you're missing a lot of nutrients that you're displacing. You know, oils, even the healthier oils, do harmful things in the body. Would it equate to a clinical difference? Like, would you maybe lose 1, 2, 3, 5 years off your life? It's hard to say. I mean, it's probably not so bad. I wouldn't do it personally, and I don't do it.
Why wouldn't you just have some like nut butter?
Well, this is it. Nut seeds, whole nut and seed butters, avocado. They would have the fibre and all the nutrients. You know, with olive oil, for instance, you'll get a bit of vitamin E, a little bit of polyphenols, no fibre. You know, and it's skewed the wrong way for omega-6 and 3.
Why not get some dual dates and stuff them with some almond butter or something?
Oh, god damn.
That would be a much tastier and healthier way to get more calories.
That is how I do things. But yeah, how bad would it be? We don't really know. I don't think we can really say. But if you want to be optimally healthy, that is something that I would forego. The only time I really eat any like oil really is if we're out and about, say we're doing a restaurant or something, and even then I wouldn't have fried food. I look for low oil options, but I won't lose sleep over it. You know, like 1 or 2 tablespoons of something like an olive oil on a rare occasion. You know, I can't imagine that's going to do much over the long term when it's not a regular thing. Some things I don't relent on: coconut oil, palm kernel oil, cocoa butter. These things raise the serum LDL and your risk for heart disease. So those 4 I don't relent on.
We don't tend to have fried food really either when we go out, you know. Yeah.
Hilda, hey, I asked you about B12. Ask me again. Hopefully I'll see it this time. Plant-based powered. What plant has the most vitamin C in it? I heard it was broccoli. I don't know. I would imagine amla powder must be well up there. Hey, cowboy. It's powdered Indian gooseberries. Let's try and have a quick look. I don't know if this is good.
There's so many things, isn't there? Like, oh yeah, bananas are great for potassium and oranges for vitamin C.
Yeah.
But it's all nonsense. It's nonsense in the way that, you know, people have always said, oh, milk for calcium or whatever, you know. Just something gets started, it catches on. Like, bananas are like number 1,000 something on the list, you know, in the top
611th.
611, sorry, on the list of
1,611th.
Oh right, okay. Potassium rich like food. So it's just crazy.
So 100 grams of broccoli has 82 milligrams of vitamin C. So that is quite a lot, to be fair. That's got 100 milligrams. And now I'll put 100 grams of, I mean, you'd never have 100 grams of amla powder. You'd have like a teaspoon, and that's like hard to get down your neck. But just to make it the same, I'll put 100 grams. And it's not even listed, so this site's rubbish.
Oh, that's a shame.
Oh, God. Can you answer the next question while I just try and suss this out?
Yeah, but I don't know where you were.
Oh. Somewhere there.
Oh, God. Okay.
Oh, delete.
When you cook food with vitamin C in it, does it destroy it?
Possibly a little bit. It might more displace it than destroy it. I think some is likely destroyed though.
Timo is asking, are there different types of fibre?
Are there different types?
Yeah.
Yeah, so broadly speaking, there's two basic types, which is soluble. So these are the types of fibre that swell up when you add water. So think like grains and pulses. So these are soluble, and these help to like bulk out your stool. Sorry, what am I trying to say? These help to sort of firm your stool. And then the other type of fibre is called insoluble fibre, and that's like, think of like really shiny vegetables like sort of celery and lettuces and stuff. These have more of the insoluble fibre. All produce tend to have a bit of a mix, but these two are quite high like either way. And these kind of more salad vegetables, these will pull more water into the colon and help you if you start to get a little constipated. If you eat more of those, on average you want about a 50-50 mix of soluble and insoluble, but if you start to struggle to go, you could add in more of the insoluble and less of the soluble, and that should help. That's something I learned today. Amla powder has 100 times the no, sorry, that's 10 times, isn't it? Amla powder has about 10 or 11 times the vitamin C of broccoli, but then that's a powder, and it's more of technically it's a spice, but it's really more of a supplement. You can think of it. So I'm going to say, well, I don't know what the answer is, but Amla's well up there.
You can Amla's so great. You can get like a smoothie full of berries and greens and bananas and all kinds of stuff. You could put like 1 teaspoon of Amla powder, and that's got more antioxidants probably than the whole rest of the things in the smoothie. So it's good stuff.
You know some things, don't you, mate?
I know some things. I remember the things that you say.
Claire Frost, I have a weekly veg box from Riverford, and this week we are getting cardoons. Cardoons, I've never heard of them.
What?
Search for cardoons. Cardoon. Artichoke thistle. Thistle in the sunflower family.
I thought you did a typo, but no, you did not.
Yeah, that's new to us, so maybe we need to get a Riverford order.
We used to get a delivery from Abel and Cole, but they were quite good. But their packaging had like sheep's wool in it. So not always, but one time it came with that, and we thought, we don't want that. Give it back to the sheep.
Carrie Williams is in the house. We're good, thanks. How are you? Good to see you. Kid Genius, what do you think is the strongest argument that omnivores, carnivores raise for their diet and against plant-based? How do you reconcile that point with your decision? I don't really know. I don't feel that I've heard a decent argument, to be honest. No, none like stands out really. Yeah.
They might sometimes say things like, "Oh, plant foods are bad," like oxalates and things like that. They'll say anti-nutrients.
But they just don't understand Yeah, nothing really sticks out. There's nothing that I think most people ought to really struggle with. We've got a new member. Who's that?
Plant-based power.
Oh, plant-based powered. Welcome to the Herbivore. I love that little jingle.
I forgot that would do that.
Hi, thank you so much, my friend. So, plant-based powered has become a member of our squad. So
that's why we salute people sometimes when we say hi, by the way.
So they'll get a great little emblem next to their name and access to their special channel emojis.
And we do a members only stream once a month, which we let you know about on the community tab on YouTube. So you'll see the link to come onto that. It's the first Wednesday of the month.
Yeah, it must be coming up, is it?
Next week or the week after, I think, because I think we've got 31 days. So.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, so not next Wednesday, the Wednesday after. So it's a smaller, intimate group. We sometimes do a meditation as well as a chat. We're thinking about maybe doing a cook-along, like a cooking thing, perhaps for the next one, if you guys want. And also we have a Discord server. So if you look in the community tab, hopefully you can look back at past comments. Every now and again, Paul posts a link to the community.
Try and remind me to do it after we come off here.
Okay. Yeah, so there's a Discord server.
But yeah, you can hang out on the Discord server with everyone if you want to, plant-based pad. So thank you so much for supporting what we're doing. That means a lot.
And I was thinking today, yeah, thank you. And I was thinking, if anyone who's a channel member or patron, if you're on the Discord, if you have any like questions or things you want to say but you can't make it to the stream, you could post it on Discord and we could speak about it. And then you could watch the video back on the replay because members get access to the replays also.
TH101, good to see you. Hi Paul, what are the main symptoms of SIBO? So SIBO is small intestinal bacterial overgrowth. It's when those good or when any bacteria that are meant to live, as I say, in the colon, they migrate backwards. Somehow they get through the ileocecal valve, which is meant to segregate your large intestine or your colon from your small intestine, and then they get into the small intestine. And when they start fermenting stuff in there, it causes issues. Can be bloating, pain like cramps, gas, diarrhea, constipation with diarrhea, which is particularly hard work to try and deal with. Those would be the main things. So in that case, you really want to get diagnosed. I developed it a couple of years back, and I worked with Goji Man, who's another YouTuber. He's a real nutritionist. He's a specialist in kind of gut issues, and diagnosed what the problem was, easily treated with some natural antimicrobials. But I would recommend getting diagnosed and not self-diagnosing, because you don't know. There's so many symptoms are shared by different problems, and if you add in antimicrobials and they're not needed, you're going to be killing your good gut bugs like unnecessarily. They are basically like an antibiotic. So you don't want to do that. So be sure you've got it before you start to try and treat it. And I suggest working with a professional like Goji Man. Check him out. He's great stuff. Charlotte Fuller, what fruit and veg would you recommend for muscles, like for cramps? Also, best thing to have before gym workout or after gym workout? What a great set of questions. So in terms of cramps, that can just be overuse, like unaccustomed exercise, but it can also happen if you have an electrolyte imbalance. So that's things like, you've got too little sodium, calcium, magnesium, manganese. I think there's like 4 main ones, and then there's like about another 3 ones which sort of can potentially come into it a little bit. And really the thing is just to eat a good amount of whole plant foods. If you're eating enough calories from whole plants, you're eating the range of stuff, legumes, whole grains, fruits, vegetables, nuts, seeds, herbs and spices. You may want to go a little harder on some of the veggies, like celery has lots of sodium in there if you're struggling with sodium. Better to get it naturally than to put in table salt. That's really the thing. So nothing really special. Just eat real food and be hydrated as well. Best thing to have before or after a gym workout. So really your last meal wants to be 1.5-2 hours pre-workout. So it's got time to empty your stomach, get into the small intestine, start to seep into the bloodstream with the calories and nutrients. And then post-workout, you want to eat, ideally fairly soon after if you can. It's not a huge deal, but if you can eat within about an hour, that can help aid your recovery. And after a training, like antioxidants are important. You want some carbs to replenish. You want some protein to rebuild. And really and truly, it's the same foods. Every meal you want to be eating legumes, whole grains, fruits, vegetables, little nuts and seeds. This is the best food pre-workout, post-workout. If you're sedentary but you want to get nutrients in, you want to be well and stave off disease or potentially treat and even maybe reverse some diseases. It's all the same things, just the whole plant foods in general, you know. I guess if you're doing any kind of muscle building, then obviously, you know, you want to be a bit higher protein. So emphasize like legumes, emphasize whole grains, but all whole plant foods have some degree of protein. And for a larger strength or physique athlete, or someone severely limiting calories, say they're on a diet, not that I suggest you severely limit your calories, but if you're on lower calories and you're finding it hard to hit all your calories with all your protein requirements in order to make yourself optimal, then 1 or 2 servings of like a processed protein feed may be of benefit in that instance. Obviously it's not optimal for health, but I think if you're eating whole plant foods other than that, it's again probably not going to clinically show up too much of a detriment, but I don't really know. Depends how important your health and longevity versus your sports performance, and you have to find your own balance there. Plant-based powder, does conventional foods have less nutrients in because of poor soil? Well, I guess it depends where they're grown, but it will have less nutrients because they don't need to produce so many polyphenols, which are protective against like the negatives of animals, pests. And then the thing is, when you buy conventional man grown produced product like fruits and veggies, etc., we make sure that they're in the right place, the right amount of heat and sun, and the right amount of water. And actually, you're better off being a bit nasty to them and not fully watering them all the time, not always providing everything they need and having everything's optimal, because then they produce less polyphenols, and we can nick those polyphenols in order to bolster us and make us healthy. So, but you'll never get that at a commercial facility because obviously they want to maximise their crop yield. So that's the thing.
Plant-based powered is saying, can I rewatch the stream after it's over as a member, or do I have to join the Patreon too? No, you definitely get access to rewatch it. Patreons or channel members get the same benefits.
Well, Patreons don't get the emojis and whatever.
That's true.
I will post the link in the community tab, members only community tab, so you'll be able to click it right there. Tweety is in the house. Whoosh. Do most people have gas issues with legumes, cabbage? Is there a way to counter it? It's usually only an issue when you first introduce them, or if you're eating animal products, and these more slowly clear the intestinal tract, and so things like legumes and cabbage can get stuck in there for too long, and then we do want fermentation to happen. It's how we produce these short chain fatty acids that are optimal for our health, but of course you are going to get more gas. On average, a healthy person will pass wind about once an hour, and that's healthy. There's nothing wrong with that. If you overdo things like these brassicas, which are quite rich in sulfur, I think, which gives you this sort of smell, and then legumes that have a lot of these sugars, hemicellulose, that's hard to break down. A lot of it depends on the quality of your gut microbiome and how healthy you are and how you've been eating historically. And if you've been eating masses of cabbage and legumes for years and years and years, you'll have the bacteria to efficiently process these things, and you won't have very much in the way of gas produced. And if you're a carnivore dieter and then you suddenly eat whole plant foods, you're going to have a whole list of problems for a while. And it's your fault for eating a stupid diet previously. Anthony Artesini, thoughts on celery juice? Yeah, it's all right. It's a vegetable, so it's not got a load of sugar, so it's not going to harm you from that perspective. You would be better off eating the fibre, but if you're not going to, if you're then going to have that celery juice on top of your other veggies, then yeah, you're going to get a load of nutrients. Is that Anthony Daniels or is that C3PO? Williams.
or something, is it? Or...
The medical medium guy reckons this well good, but he reckons that ghosts told him about undiscovered cluster salts. So take that with a pinch of cluster salts, but I can't comment.
I could juice a whole head of celery and drink that down like quite easily. It's a bit of an acquired taste, but I could drink that quite easily.
I like it.
I wouldn't sit and eat a whole head of celery.
Yeah.
I don't even like celery to eat that much, so that's kind of what I figure. It's like, maybe I'm getting some nutrients in.
Yeah, as an addition, it's probably, doing you a lot of good. Probably not doing any harm.
I can never be bothered to clean the juicer though to make it, so we don't have it very often. We had it for a long time, didn't we? But then I got bored of cleaning the damn juicer.
I used to find I would have it of an evening at first, and I would have some other greens in there, and that used to rev me up like some espresso or something. So
I had to start having it earlier.
Make sure to have it in the morning.
I found if I had it first thing, it made me really have to rush to go to the loo very quickly afterwards. So beware of that. Be near a toilet.
Right, why? This seems to have jumped. I've got no idea where I am now.
Oh, good.
Except here I am. Timo's in the house. Good to see you. Erwin. Avond. Erwin Neesing. Whereabouts in the world are you, Erwin? Or Irvin, if that's how I pronounce it. I don't know. Yeah, Jose's here as well. You're welcome, Federico. Not quite sure what's going on there. Timo, I tried a glass of amla powder with water. It literally tastes like puke. Yeah, it's not the nicest taste.
Put it in a smoothie or in your porridge or something, then you won't taste it and it'll be fine. But yeah, it does taste bad, really bad.
Six String Slayer, Guitar Man. To get DHA and ALA, should I take a supplement or is there food choices for it? I do take 2 tablespoons of flax today, but I heard it needs to be converted not optimal to get your DHA. Right, so things don't need to be optimal. We just need to be able to get enough. And the conversion rate of ALA from flax seeds up into DHA is low. But for the average person, like 1 or 2 tablespoons, probably 2 tablespoons to be safe, should give most people all their needs. 2 tablespoons. So, then that's with it just being a fraction, fraction of the ALA being converted into DHA. So yeah, a couple of tablespoons of ground flax or ground has to be ground or it doesn't work, or it has to be like cooked chia. It's been like softened. Basically, because these seeds are so small and they've got such a thick husk, that makes it hard to absorb their omega-3 into the bloodstream. Like if it's not milled or like cooked in liquid to gelatinize it will just pass through you basically. So that's important. And then the other thing is you don't want to have your omega-3, your omega-6 like many times higher than your omega-3. I've heard about 3 or 4 to 1 is okay, but not really no more than that. If not, you've got one enzyme called elongase, which elongates the plant versions of omega-6 and 3 up into the animal long-chain versions, and they're the active versions. So, yeah, you shouldn't need more than really a couple of tablespoons of that, but don't go too mad with other nuts and seeds relative to that, so your omega-6's ratio is far too high. Some people may have a genetic defect. They may, not everyone can. It's rare, but you can be unlucky. You could have a genetic mutation. Maybe you don't produce elongase. And in that instance, you would need to eat a direct source of DHA. So for a vegan, really, the best source is algae, like an algae oil supplement. I put one in just to be safe. It's not very expensive. And why not? Link down below, 10% off with code HENCH10. It's a Viva Life supplement. It's really good quality.
So Flux Blaze was just saying something about they wouldn't know how to do it. I don't know if they've said something else. And they're saying how to make meals. Any advice on cookbooks with meals and what meals have high protein as he goes to the gym? Yeah, so just
Me too.
Speak of that because we've got a book called Where Do You Get Your Protein?
Where do you get your protein?
And we created it because that's the thing that people ask the most, like how much protein do I need? How do I figure that out? What are the best sources? Like all the just myths about protein and just really understanding that topic. We've put all that information into a book and there's also 30 recipes. a variety of different things.
30.
Yeah, like mains and, you know, sides and desserts, like all breakfast, all different things, and they all have an emphasis on a higher amount of protein, all from whole plant foods and a bit of tofu, which isn't technically a whole food, but yeah, tofu.
But it's
as
still
well.
good. You know, just get enough calories in. You know, make sure you're eating more calories than you're burning off. And emphasise legumes, all your beans. You can add tofu, tempeh. There's seitan, which is like a wheat gluten thing, which is a bit like meat. Textured vegetable protein. There's sort of pea protein type burgers and meatball type substitutes and things.
Legume pastas as well.
Protein powders. I recommend Vivo Life for that as well. It's not difficult. It's really not difficult. But check out our cookbook if you want. It's half price, $4.99 at the minute. And so is Virtuous Vegan Desserts. Link down below. 30 recipes that I eat all the time to fuel me in the gym.
I'll say it's so good for you. Sure.
I'm not getting naked unless someone donates $500.
I'll check my bank account.
Sweetie, what is the CBD you use? Honest Hemp.
Oh, here it is. I've been nicking it.
Honest Hemp. It's well good, and they're doing it really reasonably priced as well. And you can get money off with my discount code. It's 30% off your first order. Very, very good. I've been using this stuff. Cost well over a year, isn't it? Is it getting on for 2 years?
I don't know.
It's well over a year. Anyway, I'm on the maximum whack. I was doing the maximum dose for my body weight, which was the sort of maximum suggested kind of dose. But then I saw elsewhere on the site, it said definitely don't go over like 169 milligrams or something per day. And that was 100 milligrams more than what I was doing. So as I get it for free, I've actually gone from 3 drops 3 times a day to 7 drops, because why wouldn't you?
I have 2 drops twice a day. If anyone wants to know how much I have, of what percentage is it?
Well, that's a big percentage. It lasts so long because it's like 30% strength. Yeah,
really
so it lasts forever.
It's cheaper to buy it that way. Buy the strongest strength of the biggest bottle you can afford, and then just have less of it.
Right. Looking for questions. Team Taylor, have you seen this guy, the Meat Doc? No, he sounds like a pillock. Is he on the tube? The Meat Doc. Has he got a channel? Because I can't see it. Where can I find this Meat Doc and slap him around the lug holes? Yeah.
How do we find
No idea. We aim to please silence its violence. Oh, Dr. Ken Berry. Is that him?
And plant-based powders saying I wish you had a physical copy of your cookbook. Yeah, maybe in the future we might have. Not at this time, but I'm working on a 3rd ebook, which is about half-ish done. And then after that, we're thinking about sort of putting all of those recipes together into a physical book, and maybe adding a few more. But it'll just be a little way off yet. It's a lot of work.
Fancy being called Berry and then promoting like a keto diet. It's no helping some people. Silenced violence. I looked up amla powder and it said it is used for hair growth. Yeah, it's used on hair, but it's also used as a base ingredient for so many Ayurvedic medicines. It's the most antioxidant rich thing in the world.
So you want to buy one that's for consumption as opposed to for, hair? If there's such a difference, I think there is.
Trike. I've been vegan over 6 years. I ain't struggled ever. It's comical when next vegans say they have issues because of it. When I've been vegan twice as long, yeah, exactly. Sarah Foy's in the house. Good to see you. Stacey Langley. Don't know if we've saluted you yet. I think we have. Would you say that the feverfew capsules are okay to take, or is it better to have herb infused instead? Yeah, Yeah, I mean, they should be fine, you know, as long as they break down in the gut, and I've got no reason to think they wouldn't. What do you mean by herb infused? Do you mean just to have the dry herb kind of thing? I'll be honest, if I get any more, I will definitely get capsules, personally. And I had vegan ones as well. Yeah, that was a bad mistake. Thanks, Plant-Based Powered. You're very kind. Tom Hurley, lost a stone since cooking meals from your cookbook and walking more. Even convinced my mother to try some whole foods. Many thanks for you and many thanks for your kind support, my friend. That's yeah, a lot of our income is based off of the cookbook. So yeah, we really appreciate anyone who's bought those, helping fund us in our quest. 303 Cerebral. What is not that?
When you ask, you'll find out, because we'll say, we're not answering that.
Not that. Flux plays. Is being vegan great for lowering cholesterol? It depends. Generally, yes. If you eat a horrible diet, you could even raise your cholesterol. Say you just ate coconut oil, yeah, your cholesterol could go through the roof. But in the main, like if you're eating a healthy diet of whole foods and not oils, legumes, whole grains, fruits, vegetables, nuts and seeds, yeah, it should plummet. It should plummet. Oh, you've answered that already. Are we miles behind?
No.
Oh, thanks, Eliza. Thanks for that share. Andre, I prefer eating a very low-fat diet. Is the fat I get from the whole foods enough? Downsides to that approach. So you're going to need, Andre, at least 3.2 grams of ALA, unless you're getting like a good whack of DHA directly. And you need some omega-6 as well. We don't really know what is the minimum. The minimum they suggest is an average for like a sick population, but I like to get at least about 8 grams or so. So that does necessitate eating usually some nuts and seeds to get those essential fatty acids. I think the RDA for 6 is actually quite a lot higher. What is the made up RDA is about 16 grams. Yeah, so you probably need like, I don't know, 3 or so tablespoons of nuts and seeds. I mean, there is omega-6 in some other things, I suppose, like soy products. Don't know about avocados. You need a minimum of fats as well to build your steroid hormones, and to be able to produce enough cholesterol to help the integrity of all your cell walls. I mean, that's an essential like building block. Obviously, we make it; it's not an essential nutrient, but we need to provide the substrates, and that's like these more healthful fats. So it's 3 and 6 that you need to worry about. So I would get on Chronometer. Make sure you're getting at least 3.2 grams of omega-3 and omega-6. I mean, that's up to you really. They're saying 16 on there. You probably don't. I often don't get like half that if I'm on like really low calories, and it's not hurt me. It's just like I say, they've gone for an average in a population where omega-6 deficiency doesn't present. But the reason is because everyone's eating so bloody much of it, and it's pro-inflammatory. So I don't want to copy those idiots.
We haven't told you yet. We got our tickets for the camp out today.
Oh, you got tickets for our camp out.
So that's in August, over 3 days. and hope to see some of you guys there. We finally got tickets. It's very exciting. And some of you guys are saying, oh, let's have a chat and figure out how we can all camp together or whatever. We're not sure if we're camping yet. We might get an Airbnb.
We're too posh to camp.
I'm too cold to camp.
But we'd like to hook up with you all and hang out.
Well, we're thinking, how can you guys chat and make arrangements? Because some of you are on Discord, but some of you aren't. I just remembered that we've got a Facebook group called Hench Hangout.
Yeah.
It's not been used for 3 years. Like, no one's posted. There's only 10 members in there. Got, like, created, but never, anything that further happens with it. It's a private group, but I think if any of you, we'll mention it a few times, maybe between now and then, maybe if anybody wants to chat and make arrangements to camp with people or to meet up with us at some point, request to join the group and we'll obviously accept you, and let's just have a chat on there.
Yes, great idea. Well done.
Yeah, that's called Hench Hangout on Facebook.
Hench Hangout. If it doesn't know four's in it, do you have an idea why raw vegans think everything cooked is unhealthy? Just because they're silly and they're not looking at the evidence. They're just inferring stuff. They're just bro science stuff that they've made up in their heads. Kev, does algae contain B12 analog which tricks the body into thinking it's real B12? There is like pseudo B12 in a few things. Some seaweeds, like dolls, have it. So you don't want to really take your iodine or eat your iodine foods around your B12 ingestion, basically. Flukes plays, we probably said already, but the link is below for our cookbooks. Six String Slayer, do you still get all the benefits of whole oats if you blend them up in a smoothie rather than eating them in a bowl? Also, would half a cup a day be adequate, or should I get 1 cup? That's a false dichotomy. You should get 1.5 cups as a minimum. Probably. That's what Dr. Greger says anyway, and he's great. Well, not necessarily whole oats, like just whole grains in general. Whole grains, 3 servings, which is half a cup dry. Do you still get all the benefits of whole oats if you blend them up into a smoothie? You'll get all the nutrition, however, you won't get as much benefit in terms of feeding your gut microbiome because the particles will be so much smaller and you'll absorb much more through the wall of the small intestine into your bloodstream, leaving less sort of insoluble fibre, like resistant starch basically, which comes from insoluble fibre, to feed the good gut microbes. But I wouldn't worry about that too much. Oh, thanks, Eliza. That's why you shared that. Thank you. Mr. Alex has called me Paula for some reason. Kinky, I like it. Soft, do you support that vegan teacher? No, we give her no finances, and I've never watched her. Wasn't this person giving me a hard time somewhere recently? I'm sure they were.
Only you could know that, I think. Keep an eye on it.
I believe I remember him being a bit of a bellend.
Oh, not that.
Bong! Soft, what was the hardest part about becoming vegan? I've got something. What have you got? Anything?
I suppose just how you sort of wake up and you really get it, and you think, oh my god, how did I not get this or know this before? But then not everyone gets it at the same time as you, so not everyone in your life gets it then, or sometimes at all. And just how it can cause a little friction, especially if you don't always communicate about it in the best way, and just how it can cause a bit of friction, and you have to suddenly sort of learn so much. Like, you have to learn to talk about nutrition and so many things you suddenly have to know about, and maybe you don't, and it can be a bit bit isolating, and just until you learn more of the stuff, where to connect with people, and just how to converse in a way that doesn't cause friction so much.
For me, the hardest part by far was learning what animals go through. And I actually had a nightmare one night, and it was like I was shown what it feels like to be in a slaughterhouse and knowing that you're next, knowing you can't get out. And I felt dread, not just like anxiety or fear. It was like a mortal fear. I knew I was then going to get done in. I knew I was then going to get murdered. And just despair. I knew I had no way out. Like, just wait your turn, and then in a minute, we're going to shoot you in the head and slit your throat. And that was the worst. That was the most horrible feeling I ever. So I felt that as though I was like the animal, and I wouldn't wish that on my worst enemy. And I try not to focus on it. I try not to focus on their plight. I focus on the solution rather than the problem. But it can just cross my mind. I mean, that Philip Woolen done that great speech, and he said animals need to be left off a plate because right now, they're screaming. Every second of every day, like hundreds of animals are screaming, for their life. And you have to live with that. Usually when you wake up and you've escaped the nightmare and everything's all right. But veganism is like the reverse, and you wake up and you're in the nightmare. Lucky for us, we're not farmed animals, but just having that knowledge all the time.
That would be why you're so very driven.
Yeah, that's the one thing that I find hard. But I choose not to focus on it, and I'll focus on the solution rather than the problem, so it doesn't affect me too bad. No, almond powder never tastes like this for consumption, don't you worry. Oh, Carrie, I have printed it after downloading. I have a binder with several cookbooks now. Oh, very good.
Yeah, please feel free to do that,
Carrie.
everyone. Yeah, it's a very good idea.
Just megawatt. Hello, Paul. Love you, dude. Well, that's nice, isn't it? I love you too. How blinking kind. Right, we'll do another 5 minutes. Then we're off to meet some friends tonight. Lovely Jacob of Eco Threads and his missus. We're going to meet them at Norwich Castle and take in the sunset together. They've travelled...
Nice.
Where do they live? London? I always think everyone lives in London for some reason.
Yeah, I don't know. I can't remember.
Yeah. So yeah, we've got to shoot off in a min, but we'll do a couple more questions before we go. Ignacio... The method to cook broccoli is cutting the base, wait 40 minutes, then cook it. Yeah, that's right. So, yeah, any cruciferous vegetable, you chop it. The myricinase, which is an enzyme, mixes with glucoraphanin, which is a sulforaphane precursor, and they have this chemical flare reaction. And over 40 minutes, they've produced all the sulforaphane that they're going to produce. And then you can cook the vegetables, and the sulforaphane remains intact. The problem is when you cook... If you just chop these types of vegetables and cook them immediately, the heat destroys the enzyme myricinase, because heat destroys enzymes. So then you wouldn't get the sulforaphane form. But what you can do in that instance is to add some raw cruciferous vegetables on serving. I often use chopped up like raw red cabbage for this very reason. And then when you eat the raw cruciferous with the cooked cruciferous, which has got the glucoraphanin but not the myricinase, but the myricinase in the raw cruciferous mixes with the glucoraphanin in your stomach, and you produce sulforaphane inside you instead of on the chopping board. So isn't that interesting? Some science stuff. You get a similar thing as well with allium vegetables. I recently found out. I was following Dr. Will Bolshevitz, and he was talking about this in a recent Instagram post. You might want to follow Dr. B on the gram, gastroenterologist. He wrote the Fibre Fuel book, a really smart guy. And so with allium vegetables like garlic, onions, leeks, etc., they produce another cancer protective compound called allicin. But again, it's not present until you chop things up, and then you mix the alliinase, the precursor, that's the enzyme, mixes with alliin, and that produces allicin. That took me a moment, didn't it? But happily, that only takes 10 minutes to fully form rather than 40. So these allium vegetables are a lot faster than the cruciferous vegetables to form those compounds. Six-string guitar slayer. Tomorrow's my 4-year vegan anniversary. Nice, hence you're one of my inspirations. Way back for going vegan. Thanks. So a round of applause for Six-string slayer guitar man. He's awesome. Thanks for your kind words. I don't blame you, Stacey. Acacia. Hi guys. Is it possible to gain muscle while losing weight? Maybe. If you're quite new to training, or if you're a seasoned athlete coming back off a long layoff, you can probably do a bit of both for quite a while. Some people say you can do it indefinitely. In my experience, it seems like progress stops, and at some point you need to choose one or the other. But yeah, you should be able to do it for at least a while. And optimally, you would basically sit at maintenance calories. So when you do your weekly weigh-in, you'd neither be gaining nor losing total weight. But, you know, if your lifts are getting heavy, that means your strength's going up. Therefore, you're building muscle. Therefore, you're burning some fat off, because if not, the scales would change weight. So that'd be a way to do it. Your protein requirements would be a bit higher than if you were bulking. So maybe 2 grams of protein per kilo of a fairly lean body weight per day might be nearer optimal versus like 1.6 or so. Sweetie, you two should do a stream with Angie and Ryan of Happy Healthy Vegan. They're lovely. I did a stream with Ryan actually. I think he might have it on his channel somewhere. But yeah, we love those guys. I'm hoping to go and meet them when we get to travel. Michael Askew, Ken Berry, John Baker, Paul Saladino. Answer is in the name. They're so thick. They don't even know that the answer is in their name. Right, we better go meet our lovely friends now. So, yeah, thanks for hanging out with us. We love you guys very much. Thanks, moderators, for keeping us troll-free. Thanks for the super chats, keeping the beans on our toes.
The balls from the door.
And the cameras rolling.
Back on Fridays. Have a lovely week.
6 p.m. GMT. Set a reminder. If you're new, we'd love you to become part of this wonderful community. You can do that by hitting the subscribe button and clicking the bell icon so you don't find any new videos and new live streams. And follow us on the gram.
You know the drill.
Hench_herbivore, Gemma _herbivore. And if you're a channel member or a Patreon, do hit us up on the Discord. I try to get on there at least once a day, just to keep up to date with what's going on.
I tried to upload a video on there today, and it said like the file was too big. I put it down to like 30 seconds, still too big. So
bloody hell.
So that's a nuisance. We'll figure out some other way to.
Well, there you go.
Do other
then.
things on there, hopefully.
Don't jog my arm this time. Anyway, it's good night from me.
Good night from me.
Good night.